But finally, I was accused of corrupting the morals of the youth of Athens and refusing to worship the gods chosen by the state. And I was put on trial, and I represented myself. I didn't do the greatest job of representing myself. At one point during the trial, they said, well, Socrates, you've been a judge on the court, and you've sentenced people for their crimes. Well, what would you sentence yourself to if you were the judge in this case? And I said, well, I would award myself free dinners for life as a reward for the good services that I've done for the youth of Athens. Well, they didn't like that very much, and eventually they sentenced me to death. And in those days, if you were a citizen of Athens, the way to be executed was to drink hemlock poison. So I'm there in the prison, and I'm awaiting, by the way, Mr. Litchfield has a photograph of the prison in Athens, and you can see that later, where I was being held. But I'm in the prison waiting for my date of execution, and some of my students came to see me, and they said, Socrates, you know, we're from wealthy families, and you don't have to die. We can bribe the guards, and we can smuggle you out of the city in the night. You can go somewhere like Sparta, and you don't have to die. We'll get you out. And I said, well, I really appreciate your offer to do that, but I have to stay here and be executed. He said, what? No, Socrates, you don't have to die. We can get you out. I said, no, there are a number of reasons why I have to stay. First of all, I'm a philosopher, and no philosopher should ever fear death. And if I flee in the middle of the night, it will look like I fear death. So I can't flee in the middle of the night. Secondly, if you bribe the guards and help me get out of here, that'll get you in trouble with the law, and I don't want any of you to get executed on my account. Third, I'm 72 years old. I'm starting to feel some of the aches and pains and humiliations of old age. You know, maybe it's just my time to go anyway. Fourth, if you get me out of here and you get me safely to somewhere like Sparta, I'm still going to end up asking the same kinds of awkward questions to people in authority like politicians. I'm just as likely to get executed there as here. It's just the pattern of my behavior. So I don't know whether it would do that good to smuggle me out anyway. And finally, and this is the thing that may have made me become known as the father of Western ethics, I said, look, all of my life, I have accepted all of the rights and privileges of being a citizen of the city-state of Athens. I have accepted the protection of the Athens police. I have accepted the protection of the Athens military. I have accepted the right to vote as a member of the democracy here. All of those rights and privileges I accepted, and in return for accepting and benefiting from those privileges of my community, I have entered into a sort of social contract with that community. And in return for accepting all the rights and benefits in that contract, what I owe back to them is my loyalty, my obedience to the rules and the laws of the society, which mean I must obey the laws of the city-state of Athens, even when I do not agree with those laws, even when I do not agree with the decision of the court. I must honor my social contract, and I must stay here and die. So when the day came for my execution, the guard gave me the hemlock poison. I drank it, and he said, now walk around until your legs go numb. It'll circulate the poison. And so I walked around until my legs went numb, and then I fell to the ground, couldn't feel my legs. My friend Crito was there, and the last words that I spoke before I died are words that philosophers and scholars have argued over the meaning of for centuries. But what I looked up and I said to Crito as he's holding me in his arms and I'm dying, and I say, Crito, remember, we still owe a sacrifice of a rooster to the god Asclepius. Now, Asclepius, if you don't know, was the god of healing. And his symbol, the staff with the two serpents wrapped up around the staff, that is still the symbol of a modern medicine, but it comes from Asclepius, who was a son of Apollo. And if you go to Greece, you can visit the place that was the healing place where they had the temple to Apollo and Asclepius, and the place of healing. But so scholars have argued over what did that mean. Now, two of the main camps, one which I hesitate to tell to college kids, because you're in that age where your hormones still go way up and way down, and you have those moments when you feel like chucking everything, suicidal thoughts even. So I always hesitate to tell this one to college age kids, but I also want you to know that hormonal thing that you have, these high highs and these low lows that you have, when you hit about 25, one day you'll look down and you'll say, what's this little paunch I'm getting around my midsection here? Where did that come from? I'm not eating any more or exercising any less than I usually do. How come all of a sudden I'm putting on a little weight? Your hormones will level out, and all the stuff that you think is horrible psychological problems that you have now, depression or whatever, that's going to level out and your life is going to get easier. Trust me. But anyway, getting back to the meaning of the sacrifice to the God of healing. There are some schools of thought that say what I was saying was, by my death is the ultimate healing. All my problems are over now. Death is the ultimate healing, the ultimate cure of all of life's problems. Personally, I don't like that philosophy. The other thought is that all I was saying was, by my death, perhaps I will sting the citizens of the city-state of Athens into taking some action to reform their government. And I think it's more likely that that's what Socrates meant.